how to create more ease in your life, especially more ease on your healing journey. Because yes, healing journey is supposed to be challenging, but it's not supposed to be difficult. Challenging, so when I use the word challenging, I mean healing journey 100% is going to challenge your perceptions, is going to challenge your the way you look at your past experiences. It's going to challenge a lot of things around what you think and what you believed in the past, or you're still believing and thinking about yourself and about the world now. But it's not supposed to be difficult, like you're grinding. You will feel at times that you're swimming upstream, because I want you to realize you are changing the neural pathways in your brain, and you are changing your body, so your nervous system, you're changing the reactions that you had in the past again and again and again, and now you're changing them consciously, because you're bringing more awareness to into your life and into your past reactions. So you're changing your nervous system as well. When you're doing that, that will feel sometimes like you are swimming upstream. However, that's not supposed to feel very difficult, like I said, like you're grinding against yourself. That's a very challenge that is healthy and that allows growth. Is very different from a difficulty that just almost like keeps you repeating the same stuff, but they just look slightly different, like a different variation of the same difficulty. And you just feel like it's not like swimming upstream and actually at some point releasing some of that stuck energy, but it's more like the difficulty that is like, I am still keep on betraying myself. I'm still betraying myself, or abandoning myself. So let's talk about it. And I want to give you a practical guide that you can start doing, from now after you watch this video, and you can incorporate these techniques that I'm going to teach you. But remember, what is really important, the technique does not matter. What matters is the you who is actually doing the technique. Because if you are frustrated and angry and you are doing the technique from that kind of state of, I'm frustrated, I would rather you to like talk to someone and journal, and then when that anger and frustration is released, then you can do the technique. But we will get into the nuance of it, and let's bring at the beginning what I want you to think about. We need to bring, almost like for you, into your awareness the baseline of what you think is easy. So think about any area of your life, because I bet that when I was working with my clients, they would have, let's say, problems or difficulties in one area or two areas or three areas of their life, but there was some ease in one or two at least. So let's say, let's think about the profile. A really common profile that I noticed in the client work is that a lot of people, for example, manage to create a really good friendship relationships in a way, so that they were based on friendship, but they found it very difficult to find almost like reciprocal romantic relationships. So that could be like one example. Or for example, people who really had been very good at what they're doing, they took a lot of satisfaction from their work, but the money was not equaling the effort or their expertise. So that's kind of what I'm talking about. So I want you to be very honest with yourself and think about, okay, what is easy for me? And that is your baseline. And I want you to be now very specific. So when you think about this area of your life that feels easy, I want you to think about two things, okay? So the first thing, when you think about it, what your body feels. So let's say when you think about this particular area of your life and you think, oh my God, this is just so easy for me. How does your body feel? Relaxed, relieved, almost like there's nothing there, that it's almost like it's only, there's only room for more. There's only room for growth. That's probably how it feels. It's almost like, this is just no biggie. It's like when I think about it, it's like my body is like spacious. That's what you're looking for. But it's gonna I gave you some examples, but I want you to think about your specific body, because your specific body is gonna have a very different marker for ease. For ease that can transmute, let's say, a challenge that is ahead of you. So let's say if the ease you find maybe at work, whenever there's some challenging stuff at work, you still find it like, it was challenging, it was difficult, but I kind of enjoyed it because I learned this and this and that. Yeah. So your body will have a specific markers for that ease, and I want you to be really aware of what these markers for ease are, okay, for the body. Now, I want you to look at the thoughts. So maybe you can journal about it and think about, okay, this area feels easy for me. How does my body feel? Write it down. And then, okay, when I think about this area of my life, what do I think? Do I really think about that area of my life a lot? Because potentially, because you don't have many problems, so to speak, to solve in that area of your life, you might be just thinking about it in terms of like, oh, this is pleasant. This is what I enjoy. This is what I like. So there'll be a lot of positive thoughts that you're going to be linking to that area of your life. So I want you to start seeing it's almost like I want you to see that flow, that the body feels at ease. The thoughts are also like pretty positive, pretty like neutral maybe. And you're just like, okay, that is what you seek in the areas of your life that you now find difficult. But this is what we're going to be bringing. So let's think about then, now that you have your baseline, you have your actual embodied and conscious mind direction baseline for the ease, think about one specific area that you're struggling with, okay? So think about, it could be anything. And I want you to think about, okay, when I think about this, what happens to my body? Is your body contracting? Is your body suddenly feeling fear, anxious, whatever that is? Again, do exactly the same thing that you've done with the ease. So think about the emotions and how those emotions are also linked to the thoughts. So what thoughts are you actually having about this particular area of your life? It's like, oh, it never works out. It's always like, it just always feels so like I have to force, I have to try, whatever that is. I want you to like really push it out of your unconscious onto a piece of paper and write it down. How does it feel? Okay. And now you have it. Now you have it black on white. You just revised the ease in your life and you just revised the difficulty in your life in a very practical way in less than, well, it depends on how long you're gonna commit to that exercise. You can do it in 10 minutes, but you can also do it like a deeper dive for like half an hour. Depends on your time or on your schedule, yeah? Now, because we want to resolve the problem of the difficulty, yeah? So how to resolve it? I want you to think about one affirmation. Not a long affirmation. No, we're thinking about something very simple. So your conscious mind and your unconscious gonna feel like it's almost like neutral in a way, but it's not gonna be neutral because obviously you're gonna be changing something difficult into something easy. So there will be some challenge, yeah? So let's say if we stick with that profile of maybe struggling with like not having problems at work, but actually maybe struggling with having money or like getting money or like getting adequate compensation for the work and the time that you are contributing to your work, yeah? So think about just something in a way like, I don't know, money flows or like money is easy for me. I've got no problems with money, like something like that. When you say that, okay, and I want you to do that exercise for like 5 minutes. So set up a timer and just say it really. You can say it out loud or you can say it in your thoughts like, yeah, money feels easy. And I want you to observe your body. Is your body still contracting? Is your body like, oh, you're lying to me? Like, how dare you? Something like that. That there might be some natural anger cropping up. That's normal. That's absolutely fine. So I want you to observe your body and I want you to observe the direction of your conscious mind. So what sort of thoughts are you having? Because potentially you're going to have a lot of contradictory thoughts in a way that, you say money is, okay, look at your bank account. How about if you look at this and this and this and that situation? So you're going to have a lot of past experiences that will show you that, well, this is the evidence that, my love, unfortunately, you find money difficult rather than easy. That's okay. You're changing that. Therefore, you are changing the neural pathways in your brain and you're changing the reactions of your nervous system. That will take some time, okay? I want you, so set this up for like, 5 minutes and do it every single day. And after you do it for 5 minutes, I want you to spend some time to do almost like an inventory writing. So write about it. So, okay, what were the thoughts? what emotions were coming up. The most common emotions that usually coming up when you are doing this type of work, there'll be anger, there'll be loads of anger. So almost like, don't be scared of that anger. There'll be some fear, there'll be some shame and guilt. Like shame is like, oh, how come, I am so smart, but I can't make the money, that is an equivalent to that smartness or intelligence, things like that. And that is all normal. So I want you to almost like, this is like a scientific experiment that you are conducting on yourself, and you are trying to make something from difficult to easy. So it's gonna be challenging to make it from difficult to easy, because you're changing the degree, So it's really important that you're going to become aware of that. There will be some almost like an emotional pushback. Your job is not to fight the pushback. Your job is to feel the pushback without reacting to it in the same way as you would in the past. Now, you will notice for the first 7 days when you're going to be doing that, there'll be a lot of emotions coming up for you, and there'll be like a lot of resistance. That's okay. Don't fight the resistance. Accept the resistance as a natural part of the process. Okay? So just accept, okay, I'm going to be resisting myself. I'm going to feel like, oh, what is this lady? Why she told me to do this? It's not working. I don't have more money on my account. Of course you're not. You're changing a lifetime pattern, or, a pattern that gain a lot of momentum in your life. So yeah, you're not going to see the results like the next day. This is not magic, guys. This is, a proper science. So we're doing it as a scientific work. Now, after 7 days, I want you to look at your thoughts, and I want you to like review your thoughts, your emotions when you're doing those affirmations. See what's there. Do like an inventory of the inventory and think about, okay, after 7 days, do I feel anything different? Do like maybe new ideas came up around money, maybe new perceptions, whatever changed within you. It's really important that you're going to acknowledge that, write it down. Do this inventory every single day, do this work. And sometimes if you cannot, let's say, journal after those 5 minutes of affirmations, that's fine. Leave the journaling, do it, every other day, but do the 7-day inventory of inventories and do it for 30 days. Now, if nothing changes within you for 30 days, well, you either didn't do it correctly, so you didn't follow the instructions that are pretty easy to follow, or you basically didn't do it. Something will change within you internally. And I promise you that you might not be able to see the results straight away in your life, because that, like I said, the old patterns gain a lot of momentum. So it takes some time to clear them up, but you will definitely see some changes within yourself. So do that. Now, if you need help with that process, if you want to change something else, maybe you don't want to change money, you want to change maybe love or whatever that is that you want to change within your life, and you find that area difficult, book a session with me. One session will already give you a clear guidance and will already give you almost like an action plan that you're going to be able to follow, and then you can have a next session whenever you feel like you need a new action plan, or maybe you don't want or you don't need a new action plan, because you're going to have already so much clarity from that first action plan that you're going to have your own action plan for the next steps that you want to, attain on your journey. So I trust that was helpful. Like I said, if you want to book a session with me, you've got all the links down below. Like, share, and subscribe, and I'm going to see you in my next video. Bye-bye.